CBT for addiction. Part C. Basis of substance use disorders. Modeling. When applied to drug addiction, modeling is a major factor in the initiation of drug use. For example, young children experiment with cigarettes almost entirely because they are modeling adult behavior. During adolescence, modeling is often the major element in how peer drug use can promote initiation into drug experimentation. Role plays. Client learns new behaviors through role plays. Drug refusal skills. Watching clinician model new strategies. Practicing those strategies. The functional analysis of person's drug use. When, where, why, with and from whom, what happened. People addicted to drugs do not use them at random. It is important to know the time periods when the client uses drugs, the places where the client uses and buys drugs, the external cues and internal emotional states that can trigger individuals' drug craving. Questions clinicians can use. What was life like before you used? How were you feeling before you started using drugs? How and where did you get your drugs? Who did you use with? What happened after you used? Where were you when you began to think about using? Triggers for drug use. A trigger is a thing or an event or a time period that has been associated with drug use in the past. Triggers can include people, places, things, time periods, and emotional states. Triggers can stimulate thoughts of drug use and craving for drugs. External triggers. People. Drug dealers, drug-using friends. Places. Bars, parties, drug users' house, parts of town where drugs are used. Things. Drugs, drug paraphernalia, money, alcohol, movies with drug use. Time periods. Paydays, holidays, periods of idle time, after work, periods of stress. Internal triggers. Anxiety, anger, frustration, sexual arousal, excitement, boredom, fatigue, happiness. High and low risk situations. An important CBT concept is to teach clients to decrease their time in high-risk situations and increase their time in low-risk situations. Understanding cravings. Many people describe craving as similar to a hunger for food or thirst for water. It is a combination of thoughts and feelings. There is a powerful physiological component to craving that makes it a very powerful event and very difficult to resist. Cravings. Cravings or urges are experienced in a variety of ways by different clients. For some, the experience is primarily somatic. For example, I just get a feeling in my stomach, or my heart races, or I start smelling it. For others, craving is experienced more cognitively. For example, I need it now, or I cannot get it out of my head, or it calls me. Coping with cravings. Many clients believe that once they begin to crave drugs, it is inevitable that they will use. In their experience, they always give in to the craving as soon as it begins and relapse. In CBT, it is important to give clients tools to resist craving. Daily record. Make a daily record of urges to use drugs or drink, the intensity of those urges, and the coping behaviors you used. Fill out the daily record of urges to drink. A. The date. B. The situation. Include anything about the situation or your thoughts or feelings that seem to trigger the urge to drink. Daily record continued. C. Intensity of thirst. Rate your thirst. Where 1 equals none at all to 100 equals worst ever. D. Coping behavior. Use this column to note how you attempted to cope with the urge to drink. If it seems like it would help, note the effectiveness of your coping. Drug refusal skills. Key elements. Improving refusal skills and assertiveness. There are several basic principles in effective refusal of drugs. Respond rapidly. Not hesitating. Have good eye contact. Respond with a clear and firm no that does not leave the door open to future offers of drugs. Make the conversation brief. Leave the situation. Abstinence violation syndrome. If a client slips and uses drugs after a period of abstinence, one of two things can happen. He or she could think, "I made a mistake and now I need to work harder at getting sober." Or, he or she could think, "This is hopeless, I will never get sober and I might as well keep using." This thinking represents the abstinence violation syndrome. Abstinence violation syndrome. What people say. One lapse means a total failure. I have blown everything now. I may as well keep using. I am responsible for all bad things. I am hopeless. Once a drunk, always a drunk. I am busted now, I will never get back to being straight again. I have no willpower. I have lost all control. I'm physically addicted to this stuff. I always will be. Preventing the abstinence violation syndrome. Clients need to know that if they slip and use drugs or alcohol, it does not mean that they will return to full-time addiction. The therapist can help them reframe the drug use event and prevent a lapse or slip from turning into a full-blown return to addiction. End of unit. To gain a deeper knowledge and understanding of the topics discussed in this unit, please study the PDF materials provided and watch the remaining videos for this unit.